So good morning, students. So we are doing on my talking app, right? This is what we are currently doing, right? This. So in our previous class, what we have actually done is we have actually created a top tab navigator, which has two tabs. One is text to speech, another one is speech to text. These are the two tabs that we have actually created, and we were working on the text to speech. So we have actually added a lot of components. We've added labels, we have added animation. This is what we did last class. And we have a text input, we have text to speech button component, and we also have an invisible component, which is the text to speech component, as well as the accelerometer, whereby we are using the sensor. So when we actually preview, you can see that we have some animation that's actually taking place, and we have the label. We also have the text input, whereby we can actually type whatever words that we want our app to actually speak. And when you click the button, then you can hear your app speaking. So that's what we have actually been doing up to this point. So we have covered on the text to speech portion. Now we are going to try to move to the speech to text, which is um, the reverse of text to speech. So text to yes.
But for example, I have animation on my laptop, and when I do review, everything it shows, but in my phone it doesn't show animation.
Okay. So sometimes if you have the issues of it's not showing on your phone, you may have to log out, you may have to close the Thunkable Live, and you have to open back again. So sometimes these kind of bugs are there, unfortunately, for the free version. So sometimes you have to do it several times, and so sometimes whatever I get the preview here, for me to actually get the animation or whatever changes that I made, it's not coming immediately. It also depends on the internet connection that you actually have. If you have a very good internet connection, then you can see the refresh rate on the Thunkable Live is way faster and way more responsive. So these are the some of the minus points that sometimes we have to handle due to the free version part. So yes, just to answer your question.
But what we can do if it still continues?
Well, if it still continues, those are the bugs that is beyond my uh, control as well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So unfortunately, I do not know how to actually troubleshoot that. The only way that by trying to refresh and things like that. So sometimes we can try to look at this preview here. So to make justifications on certain proof of concept that you have actually done on the preview, it actually works fine. And some of the things you can't view it on the preview, like for example maps. Maps you can't preview here. It'll put a message that please view it on your phone. So yes, it's not the all perfect thing. So some adjustments need to be actually done. So the exact reason why it happens that way, that's one thing which I am unsure myself. Is that okay? So now we're going to try to work on our speech to text. Speech to text. So under speech to text, so this is going to be the reverse. That means whatever that we are speaking, it will be converted to text. So earlier the text to speech, now the speech to text. So under this speech to text, we are just going to have two components. Simple one. So if you go to the component, we are going to include a label. Drag and drop a label. So this label we want to see. Not so sure. Okay, so we have added label and we want to rename the label. Put as converted speech. By right, label is a component whereby it is used to display something, right? Like in our earlier page. So this one, when you just convert this, like in our earlier page, you can see that My Talking app is where you use the label. It displays some letters there, right? So under speech to text, we're going to include a label. And we are actually going to use this label to represent our converted speech. So whatever that you are speaking, it will be converted into words and it will be displayed here. So we're going to name it as convert to speech. So this convert to speech, so let's see, we want to, morning, good morning. So let's try to change some alignments here. So hold on, I'm trying to search for where is the, oh sorry, no wonder. So click on the converted speech. Click on the converted speech, which is the label. So you want to change the text for the converted speech. So what you want to change is you can put converted speech will be displayed here. Okay, so let's see in terms of the height for relative size, and let's see how it looks 80%. Maybe I'll put as 60. Nope, maybe 50. Okay, this should okay. And also the width on the relative size. So let's see 80. Okay, it is fine. So this is how your text will look like. So maybe we can add some background color, maybe light gray perhaps, color. So you'll have some distinct difference. Of course, you can't see it there on the projector screen, but when you change the background color, at least the label, you can see the square box here has a slightly different color. It's not showing on the projector screen. Is everyone okay up to this point? You don't have a laptop? You don't have a laptop? Sorry? Okay, so this will be the converted speech. And we want to add a button as well below of it. Is everyone able to follow? So we're going to add a button as well. Let's put it at the bottom here. So now when I drag and drop the button seems to appear on top. But I want the button to be down. So how can we actually adjust that? We go to the component tree. On the left hand side, you can see under the speech to text screen, the button is on top. So we want it to be below. So what you can do is you can drag and bring it below. Then automatically you'll see the button comes at the bottom. Now it seems like the button and also the label is actually so close to each other. So what can we do?
Margin.
Yeah, we can increase the margin. So before that, let us actually also rename the button. We can actually rename this as Let's say this is as the listen button.
Listen.
Listen button. We are renaming it the listen button. Okay. If anyone is lost, yes. Here, the tree. Earlier it was up here, right? You select and drag it down. Good. So if anyone is actually unable to follow, just let me know immediately so that we don't. Unfortunately, this projector is not so good at displaying the color. So we are going to try to change. Let's try to increase the margin, the top margin. Let's see if I put 20. Okay, that looks okay. That's fine. And here, let us actually try to. The text, I think we can remove. Let's put some images inside. There's also an option to include the background image, right? So let's see if we can actually find a speak icon. Or speech to text icon. Okay, let's see if we have this one. I'm just going to choose this one. I'm going to copy the image URL, image address. Just like how we have done before. We actually copy on the image address and we include under the background picture. So you can see now your button actually changes, right? So we can choose the background resize structure mode. Let's see if we put contain. What happens? Oh, we put. Six. So can you check how it looks like on your Thunkable Live? Do preview here. This is actually relatively quite small.
For background picture, decide not to use color or contain.
Yeah, we can actually try to use the contain or whatnot. It looks different on the phone.
If I use contain, it starts in the middle.
Fit contain. Okay, let's try to change this. Send with. We are going to play around with the. So are you able to get? So whatever I'm previewing here, it's not how I'm getting on the phone. It's a bit slightly different. So let's do the live test. Okay. 20. So another way that you can actually also preview is by clicking on the live test here. So it is a live test. You're actually also reviewing how it looks like on your phone. So here's the button option. So you can actually change the width or the coverage as how you want it to be. Maybe this one changes 18. So when I change 18, it looks a bit more round. Everyone okay? Is able to get something like this?
Yeah.
So now we are actually going to try to include another component which will allow us to do the to text conversion. So let's go down here. So everyone okay with this? This is a simple layout only. The label and also the button. So how you want it to looks like, you just have to play around with the height and also the width and the percentage and things like that. So to make sure that how the layout looks like. Uh, this projector is not capturing the colors or whatever I'm displaying correctly. So we're going to go back to the components palette here. And if you go under the voice palette, there is one a component which is known as the speech recognizer. So if you click on that, the speech recognizer component can translate a full phrase or in a real time as a person is speaking. The speech recognizer stops listening after it stops detecting any sound. So as long as if you continue to speak, then it will actually detect. So we're going to drag and drop it to the screen. So now you will see that another invisible component has been added, which is the speech recognizer. It's actually speech to text, but whenever you drag and drop, the invisible component is actually throughout the entire project. So it's always there. So you can see at the bottom here, you have speech recognizer, text to speech, and also accelerometer. Whenever you add such invisible component, it is actually throughout the pages, various screen. Okay, have you all added that?
Yeah.
So now let us actually now go to the blocks and try to add some functionality. So basically, when is this particular function will be evoked? There are two components here, right? One is label and another is button. Guys, maybe you can take the conversation outside of the class. Guys, excuse me. Maybe you can take the conversation out of the class. If you're speaking louder than me, then it'll be also capturing. So there are two components here. One is actually the label and the other is button. So in order for us to add the functionality to it, for it to convert, which one of the component that we should consider adding the functionality to? There's only label and button. Button, right? So by right, you want to start to do some actions. There's only two components there, label and also button. So when you click the button, then you want it to actually listen. So in this case, there's a listen button, right? We have actually renamed our listen button. So you click on that. We're going to use this one, the first block, which is when listen button is clicked, then do something. So you can drag and drop this block here. So when the listen button is clicked, what you want it to do? We want to actually invoke the speech recognizer, which is this, right? So we're going to use the first one, which is call the speech recognizers to listen. So this is the first block. So drag and drop it here. So when you click the listen button, what it'll do, it'll call the speech recognizer's listen function and it'll give the following output. It has the error output and also the value output. So now we need to use this value, the value output, because this is where we're going to get the results. Then do something. What you want it to do? Upon listening, what you want it to do? Yes, we want it to actually write or update the label field, right? So that label field is what? Is converted speech, right? That's the name of the label that we actually changed just now. Do you remember? So when you click on converted speech, then you can see you want to set. Whenever the set is you want to assign, you want to actually change the converted speech text to a particular label in this case. So we're going to use this one and drop it here. What do you think we need to do with the label here? So when you click the button, you're going to call this speech recognizer listen and give these two outputs, right? Error and also value. Then we do set the converted speech text to what? Set it to what? Are you following what the block here is doing? Are you all understanding what the block is actually doing? This call to speech block actually gives two output. It has an error block and also a value block, which contains the result after it listens to whatever you speak. So after it listens, it gives outputs, right? It has outputs. What it will do, it will set. That means you will change the converted speech text. Currently, what's at converted speech text? What is at converted speech text? Are you all here or what's happening?
I didn't get the question. Convert to speech, as I understand it, it will write down what we speak or not.
Okay, converted speech is what? What is converted speech here? Label, right? Converted speech text means what? This is the converted speech, right? What is converted speech text? This one, right? That's what I want you all to answer. But I want you to understand what is it actually doing. This is a label, and what is the label's text? Currently, what is it? What is mentioned at the text? Yes, correct. You want to change that sentence to what? Okay, again repeating. This speech to recognizer gives two output, error and also the converted value. So what should be at the label? Yes, the value. So you just drag this and put it here. Is that okay? So that's all. You're done. So now whenever, I'm not so sure this preview will work here or not. So whenever you click this, then it will actually listen and it will convert whatever that you're speaking here. But you need to do it on your phone. Let me just try it now. So you click on that and you just type hello, hello, hello. Mine is actually having a bit issue. So when you press and you speak, it will actually convert whatever you're saying. So you will hear the sound. So now, yeah. Do you hear that? My phone, whenever you press the button, you'll hear that It works right. So here, whatever I'm actually speaking, it actually will convert to the text. So my phone gives that sound, that the Google Assistant when you're clicking on the microphone. So whenever you, okay, now it's actually hearing whatever I'm talking. I can see on my phone. So when I stop talking, then it will, there, you see. When I give a long pause, it stops and it converts. So it actually converts into text. So it's quite good also. As long as you speak properly, it's quite good. Everyone managed to get? This is, I don't know why mine on the Thunkable Live is totally different from here. So just like what you said, sometimes it goes crazy. So if you do the live test here, so how did you all manage to get that? So of course I can't do it here on the preview. It will give undefined. I can do it on the phone. Yes, this is a label. It's a label. This is a label. This is a button. Yeah, I think you missed the first part, right? It's a label. So here you go. You actually, let me just pause this recording.